Welcome to Doin the Most. On this episode, we are going to do an experimental brew. We were recently looking at honey at the supermercado, and we came across honeybee liquid. So we decided to go back, see if we could find it again, and possibly ferment it.
The Americano brand. Why?
Okay, so this is honeybee liquid.
Corn syrup. Corn syrup as a.
What is mulatto?
Mulatto?
Google it.
I'm doing it.
The first ingredient is honeybee.
Luscious.
Mulatto is luscious. Okay.
Syrup.
Honey ingredients: honeybee, mulatto, corn syrup as a crystallization
Treacle
retarder.
syrup. Yeah. So it's sugar. It's sugar.
Okay, so this is $10.29 for 22.4 ounces, which is about a pound and a half. Yeah, about a pound and a half. So it will require, for a traditional mead, it would require 2 of these.
Okay, so $20.
$20.
$20.60. You're doing it.
We'll do it. So for this brew, we are going to use EC1118 yeast because it can cut through damn near anything. A little bit of DAP for yeast nutrient, and then 2 containers of honeybee liquid, which comes out to just under 3 pounds. So after a little bit of spirited debate over how to start this brew and who was going to do what, we start with about a teaspoon of diammonium phosphate, and then open our honeybee liquid. At the store, we were pretty sure we saw a bee part in one of these, so we searched for it, but all we could find was this mysterious black speck in one of the containers. As you can see here, it was extremely runny. Not really the consistency of honey at all. It had a very sweet and kind of medicinal smell. The flavor was what I would call offensive. Anna described it as you can kind of see where they were trying to make it taste like honey. So I don't have a lot of optimism for how this is going to turn out. Honeybee liquid was very thin, but we eventually got it through the funnel and into the fermentation vessel. Here we're using a 1-gallon jug. I was not super conscious about the water we used. This is just plain old hot tap water. Shake it up. And just enough to bring it up to about the 1-gallon mark. We had a leftover packet of EC1118 in the refrigerator, so we decided to use that. And dump it on in. The hope is that this yeast is going to be able to cut through everything in here. That hope will be eventually dashed. I put this under a silicone airlock. And express your pessimism over how this experiment is going to turn out. Once this had come to room temperature, it had already started foaming. We got the gravity at just about 1.1. And in the interim, I decided to ask a friend of mine, Camila, if she would call the phone number on the honeybee liquid bottle and clarify the ingredients. Honeybee was the part I was most concerned about because what the hell is that? So we got Camila on the phone with the company who makes honeybee liquid, and she asked them what was in it.
Aló, buenas tardes. Mire, yo tengo una pregunta. Compré un producto y quiero saber cuáles son los ingredientes, que es que no me quedan muy claros de lo que está en la botella. ¿Usted me puede ayudar?
¿Qué producto es?
Se llama Honeybee Liquid. La verdad no sé, o sea, simplemente es una botella genérica, dice Honeybee Liquid y lista como ingredientes una abeja, melado y syrup de maíz.
Tiene que tener una marca, señorita, ¿no?
Una marca.
Sí, porque nosotros vendemos una marca que se llama Be Happy.
Be Happy. Sí, yo creo que es esa.
Tómale una foto y mándamela para saber cuál es. Esto es, ¿ok?
Bueno, señor, muchas gracias.
Ajá.
He said he was going to check because he doesn't know and he'll call me back. I don't think he knows what's in there.
Armed with that new information, about 3 weeks later, we are going to adjust our pot holders and find this with Sparkaloid. Sparkaloid is activated by heat. It's kind of just a powdery dust, and it will bond to all those weird particles in there and help them sink to the bottom. I did not take a final gravity on it at this juncture. I know, not best practices, but the bubbles had stopped for about a week and things had started to settle to the bottom, so I knew that fermentation had basically died, and I was comfortable throwing in the Sparkaloid and sticking it in the fridge for a little while. I also used a cold day to crash this outside. So here you can see my beautiful setup. It's mostly clear, but I can tell there's a lot of gas suspended in it, so I wanted to rack it off prior to bottling and degas it so it could finish clarifying. I'm also adding a Campton tablet at this point to start stunting any remaining yeasty beasties that might be in there. Cap that off with a breathable silicone bung, and I'm going to give it another week or so to clarify. At this point, I decided to draw a taste. It was sort of hot, very sweet, and I could already tell that this had turned from something unpleasant into something really tragic. So a week later, it's crystal clear. Our final gravity was about 1.04, so crazy sweet. And right here, I took my first real sip. What I will say about this was it fermented fast, it stopped way too early, so probably a nutrient deficiency, but it did drop crystal clear. I put 3 bottles back. I doubt they will ever be consumed in full, but for the sake of science. Nice amber color on it. This taste, I tried to be a little more professional, swish it around in my mouth, really get some oxygen mixed in there, and attempt to choke it down. It's bad. It tastes like cough drops. It's unpleasant. I don't know what exactly is contributing to that, but I'm gonna guess it's the corn syrup. Whatever the case, the experiment failed. At least now I know. I fermented it, so you don't have to. And we'll put some bottles away, see what happens. Thanks for stopping by. Please subscribe, hit that bell icon so you'll get our notifications, and follow us on Instagram and Pinterest. See you next time.